Hello, and welcome to this meeting on spiritual matters where we discuss about spirituality or life in general, about what are the things that concerns us about the practices which we do in the spiritual path. So anybody is free to ask whatever if there are certain clarifications or someone wants to share their experience, they can unmute and talk or they can type something in the chat box. So till the time you people are, preparing something to ask, I will put some questions which have come. So there's a question from Sanjeev: how to make better choices when you have many options? So I'm sure the seekers who are already connected with the pure experiences for some time, they can obviously see that there are certain assumptions in this question. One is that somebody is making choices, means there is an effort, there is a uh, continuous, there are different choices available, first of all, and there is someone who is choosing a option which is expected to give better results. And when there are several options available, several options, if there are several options, then only the choices will, there will be choices to be made. If there are no options, obviously there are no choices. So let me try to answer this question in two levels. One in the level of worldly matters. There, obviously, if you have to choose between eating, let us say, good food or junk food, so this is the choice. If you have to choose between drinking tea or coffee or water, this is the choice. So on normal worldly terms, we say that you choose a option which is least damaging or which is expected to give you better results. Now, that is very simple. But is it so simple when we go further up from the level of oneness, or where we say that whatever is from the level of spirituality, so to say, there we will find when we go deep that there are no one who is making the choices. There are no choices which are available. Because if, let us take an example, if somebody says that I make a choice, I have chosen to drink tea and not coffee, this is a choice. But are you really free to take this choice? Or is it again coming from your past impressions? Or is it coming from the way you have lived your life till date, the taste you have developed, the memory which you have of coffee and tea, and also the genetical genes which come from the birth with this body? So, having said that, I don't think anybody can really choose, because these things come into play, your memory. So, if memory is the governing thing, then where is the choice? Because memory is directing you to go towards tea and not coffee, because you have already drank tea so many times, coffee so many times, so you prefer a certain thing. So it is good when we come to the worldly matters that you choose the options which are least damaging. When we say it is least damaging, means that which takes you to the core of your being. The from the spiritual angle again, if you even assume that we are making choices, I am making choices, then you make a choice which takes you to the core of your being, to the center of your essence, from where you are coming, what are the intentions. See that. Go to the source of thinking. Can you go to the source of thinking from where the thoughts are arising? If you just, it's a very simple thing. If you just try to find where is the source of these thoughts, that I am choosing or I'm not choosing, or I want this, I don't want this. What is the source of that thought? If you even try to grab that, try to find it, you will soon land into in no man's land. You won't find any answer to it, because That which is the source cannot be grasped by a thought. So that is the catch. That which is the genesis, the starting point of a thought or a desire cannot be known or grasped through the intellect, because intellect itself is an experience. So here we need to be careful that one, then again you can try to find out who is the one who is making these choices. Is there an entity? And if you say yes, the body is more or less, I mean, it is inert. It can't think. So body cannot make choices. So who is making choices? Is it the mind? Yes, you can say yes. Mind is making choices. Then again, you have to find what is the mind. Is it the mind which is knowing me, or I am knowing the mind? Again, you will find that no, I am the one who is the witness of the mind. Then, if I am the witness of the mind, who am I? If I am away from the mind, then who am I? What am I? Then there will not be any answer. Please don't accept any answer which is coming from scriptures or spoken by someone, even your guru, because he is just indicating towards a direction. What he is saying is not what you have to accept as a answer, because then you won't inquire further deep into it, that why he has said so, why it is that there is no one who is making choices. Go deep into it. Don't ask questions purely from a superficial level. Superficially, yes, there are psychologists, there are doctors, there are so many advisors, teachers who can answer it. But if a question is actually troubling you, is making your life miserable, that is the question which is worth it. And that question is only one, that is, what am I? Who am I? Here, the search will end because you won't find any satisfactory answer to this question. So, we will just try to satisfy the intellect by some plausible answers like I am, I am the existence, I am the witness, I am the experiencer, and they more or less satisfy the intellect. But please don't get satisfied with these answers also. Try to go delve deep into further this, that why it is said that I am the existence. If I am the existence, how can I not know whatever is happening in the existence? If I am the experiencer which does not change, how can I know the experiencer which is not changing? Because that which doesn't change cannot be known. So these type of questions should may come up. Then you will further go deep into the subject, that who is the one who is trying to find the answer to these questions. And options also are illusory in nature if we talk from the level of non-duality. So like you are choosing in a dream, this will come very often, the example of dream, because it is available to everybody. Everybody can see that in dream, whatever is happening, there are choices being made in the dream. There are different objects to be selected from. There are different options. So what do the dream person do? A dream character, which is a character produced in the dream, which is thinking that I am the one who is observing, whereas the observer is not observer. The experiencer is different from the dream character which is created in the dream. And that experiencer has also created several dream characters, several other dream characters. And there are interactions going on, there are exchanges going on, there are options being evaluated, and automatically that is getting produced and that is getting manifested in the dream. But does it have any significance? Does the dream character has any choices to be made? Does he really have, he or she really have any options available in the dream? Or is it that it is so obvious to the dream character which thinks that I am the one which is experiencing? Is that the truth? Because as soon as you wake up, you find that the dream character and all the events that happened during the dream were all fictitious. They were not real. And we have to find that, is this criteria for saying something as real or unreal true? I mean, if I say that whatever I experience is true and I make this criteria, then even the dreams are true, because dreams are also being experienced and waking state is also being experienced. So both are true or both are false. So we have to be very cautious about framing the criteria, about coming to the conclusion of what am I. Otherwise, we come to a conclusion without a proper criteria, and that conclusion will be not correct. That will not be what the reality is. So ultimately, there won't be any answer to this question of what am I, where have these all memories started? Because what am I experiencing is only the memory, is only the mind. There's nothing else which I am experiencing, which was not experienced earlier. There's nothing new which is being experienced. There is no time, there's causelessness, there is effortlessness, and there is, in this state, there is surrender, there is love, there is peace. And these are the most valuable things in the life, and they are your true nature. The essence of your being is ever peaceful, is ever in love, is ever in bliss, is ever in self knowledge, self illuminating like the sun. Just be in that awareness, and these questions will evaporate. And there is no meaning to find an answer to this question whether there is free will and destiny. I think somebody has asked that question. We will come to that. Bhudev has one more few questions. Every time when I criticize or tell bad about someone, gossip, I feel some uneasy feelings around my chest area. By this, I understand that it is not a positive thing I did. And also observe it. If I honestly praise someone, I feel good, some loving energy. So my question is, when is then why there's no good and bad in absolute sense? So what he is asking is that if there is nothing good, nothing bad in absolute terms, how can it be that if I praise someone, I feel good within, and if I abuse or think bad about someone, I feel bad within? So how can this be so correlated that thinking or having bad intention produce bad feelings, and having good intentions produce good feelings, or a feeling of loving energy? That's what the word you have said. Now, this is very, very subjective. The question of what is good and what is bad. Obviously, they are relative, because if there is no good, there is no bad. And if there is no bad, there is no good. So, none of the experience which you have or which you will ever have is absolute in that sense. All experiences are relative. If there is no heat, you can't say that what is cold. If there is no light, nobody will ever know what is darkness. If there is nothing good, then nothing can be said as bad. So these are relative. Now, who decides this? What is good and what is bad? Is it not that the specific person who decides this? But there can be certain things which can be said to be universally good, universally acceptable as good, like not harming others and not harming oneself, can be considered as universally good. And similarly, there can be something as universally bad, the opposite of it, that is harming others and harming oneself, can be considered as universally bad. Besides that, there are very few things which can be considered as universally good or universally bad. It is only the limited intellect of a human being, of that particular individual, which have a collection of memories, which have a influence from the society, from the friends, which which judges something as good or bad. Like in Western countries, it is good to hug each other or touch each other, even kiss each other on the cheeks and something like that. But maybe in the Eastern countries, it is not even felt appropriate to touch the opposite sex. In the There's a thing called namaste. We don't touch also in Eastern part of the. So that is not considered good. I mean, these are very very subjective things, that what is good, what is bad. Some places where you are eating meat is considered as fine, acceptable. Some places it is not. Like the meat of the cow, which is considered very sacred in one religion and which is considered, it can be eaten in other religion. So now again, religion, which has created such a divide that we are so fixated on certain things being good and certain things being bad. But if we try to question it from that, from the fundamental, like what is belief? Belief is that we take something as true, which is not verified, which is not. So I was saying that religion has obviously created a lot of divide, and this division has polluted our mind to such an extent that we think religion is a spirituality. And we are so much identified with the religion that I don't know, everybody knows about it. That how a small child, we pollute the mind of a small child with the religion. You are this, you have to read this book, you have to follow this instruction. And that child is pure, innocent. That child doesn't know what is right and wrong. The intellect is not developed to that extent. And he takes it for granted. Yes, my parents are saying, my friends are saying, my relatives are saying, and following this. They're protecting me. The child sees the protection and the love of them, of parents and others around him, and he follows them blindly. And unfortunately, even when they grow up, when the intellect is developed, still they are not able to see the dogma and the beliefs and the concepts and the doctrines which have been given to them right through, right after they were born, from the way they were treated, from the way they were asked to go to particular religious place and things like that. Nobody taught them about spirituality. Nobody told them to inquire who are you. So that is the job of a guru who comes and wakes up. Anyone wants to add or modify, comment? Yes, Andy has given some comment. Personal conditioning, social laws, social conditioning, social norms, all of these are contributing factors in determining what is good or bad. Hence, good or bad is situational and personal, person dependent and arbitrary. Everything is perfect as it is. Wonderful. Very nice, Andy, for sharing your thoughts, because I 100% agree with you. That's what I was talking. That we don't question. There are very few people who will question that if I call myself an Hindu, why? What is Hinduism? If I call myself a Muslim, what is Muslim? Or what is Christ? What is Christianity? I mean, if you see the core of all teachings, they are one. If you listen to Guru Nanak, if you listen to Kabir, if you listen to Muhammad, if you listen to Christ, or if you listen to Buddha or Krishna, have they said anything which is different? Or is it only that whosoever has tried to interpret them, their followers, so to say, they have formed a cult or a religion, and they have created so much separation that there are wars going on in the name of religion. Who can ever justify a war on the name of religion? Is it ever any sane person will do that? Is that what religion is? Then that is not the right way to understand what the religion is. Therefore, we don't use the word religion, and let us take one more better word, which is the spirituality. And what does it mean, spirituality? That what am I? What is my essence? Wherefrom I have come? What is the purpose of this life? What is life itself? Who is the one who is trying to get this answer? From where the thoughts are coming? These type of questions, when they come, then a person is prepared to dive deep into spirituality. Otherwise, in the name of spirituality, also many things are going on, which is perhaps not at, at all what the spirituality is. So we should be careful about what is the intention from which any teaching is coming. Is it aligned to what I want to know? What are the key questions? Are they being answered? Or there are blind practices, rituals? So spirituality will become another religion. And in spirituality also, there are organizations which are very adamant or very protective that nobody should listen to another spiritual guru. You should only understand, have blind surrender or faith in what your this organization is teaching. So it is another sort of mini religion. We have to be cautious about all these things. Yeah.
So, one
Yeah.
thing I
Please go ahead,
just
Andy.
wanted to add, and I think one other perspective worth looking at this is from a person's and individual's perspective. That is what we normally see. We look at things from a egoic identities perspective, and um, it is worth looking at things from a dualistic perspective or from a non-dual perspective as well when we look at things. So typically when I look at a table in front of me or a desk, or a chair in front of me, they appear to me to be different because just the way they look. But if I go a little bit deeper and then look at the fact that they're both made of wood, and then I go a little bit more deeper, and then I look at the molecular structure. Then you go a bit more deeper and look at the atoms, the electrons, and eventually you'll find that more deeper you actually go, everything is just one. There is no right or wrong. There is no everything in essence is the same. So it just depends on how what perspective we are looking at things from. And Sorry, just wanted to add that to this. Thank you.
No, no, I think you are most welcome to add your views and thoughts. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts on this. And I 100% agree with you again that it is the perspective. I mean, if you say table is different from me, it is okay. I mean, you can't say that in practical purposes for behaving in this world, table is me. But you are also right that if you go deep into it, you will find it is made up of electrons, protons, neutrons, and further deep there will be subatomic particles and whatever. So everything, whatever is appearing, is actually made up of these particles only. If you take from the science perspective also, so it is same. What spirituality is saying that whatever is being experienced is not different from you. That is what the spirituality is. That is what non-duality is. And if there is any difference, please tell me where is the difference. I mean, we can discuss this in more depth also. That if anybody connected in this call can see the difference, because as Andy correctly said, the difference is at the level of forms. That when atoms get collected and they they make a form, then differences are visible. But if you go to one level below, like a very easy example is about ice, water, and water vapors, steam. So you find they all are different. One is solid, one is liquid, and one is in gaseous form. But are they different? Are they not H2O? And if you go further down, are they not purely electron, proton, and neutrons? And science has not stopped in electron, proton, neutron. They say, no, no, even these atoms are not absolute. There is further divisions into below atom level, like below nucleus, and you go further down and they are subatomic. And if we expand it, if you go to the galaxy, will it be something different from electron, neutron, and proton? If you talk about Milky Way, can it be anything else but these basic substance of which it is made? And The one who is experiencing this substance, so to say, the substance, what is that? Is there any substance in the awareness in the mind? Now you are very silent. Now the science will also be silent. That mind does not seems to be having any form of substance or particles in it, but it is there. Otherwise, who is experiencing these particles? If even if they exist, assuming they are existing. If they are existing, where are they existing? Are they existing without the experiencer? So this is the way inquiry is done, and that will take you deep within yourself, diving. So this once you go to this level, then good, bad, right, wrong, they lose the significance. They may be useful in survival. They may be useful in behaving in a society. You can't say that I you murder somebody and say that no, no, I am non-dual. That body is also me, and this knife by which I am murdered is also me. So why are you putting me in jail? So the jail is also you. So what point is that you have to be practical when you live in this world, but knowing very well that the truth is somewhere else. Now, the definition of truth and false again will be very subjective, which we have already seen on the path of knowledge. Now, Bhudev has further said that please explain in the simple words. I have written a reply to him about what is good and bad, that that which takes you close to your essence is good, and that which takes you away from yourself may be called as bad. Now, he wants this to be further simplified. I don't know. This is the, I think, most straightforward way to say it. Further simplification, I don't know if anybody in the group can help me out, because this sentence is very clear that to know, to go, what the sentence says, that whatever that takes close to your essence. So to come close to your essence, you need to know what is the essence. If I have to simplify it further, but then it will get complicated, because if you try to know what is your essence, there won't be any answers. Then how can you go close to your essence when you don't know what is your essence? That is the beauty of it. That even if you don't know what is the essence, but you can still be it. If you can't define, like a mother, if an illiterate female, if she's not, doesn't know anything about how the baby develops from single cell to a body in the womb and finally takes birth, still that is happening, right? So even if you are not aware of the essence of what is your essence, still that is what it is. So don't try to grasp it in intellect. Just see that what is your direct experience and what is logically correct. So my answer is again the same. First, try to find out your essence, and anything which takes you away from your essence will be is not desirable, in the sense that it will take your mind, make your mind restless. And anything which makes the mind restless will not take you closer to your essence. It's like, to give an example, if a pond is ruffled on the surface, the bottom of the pond will not be seen. Or if there are several, if the water is not clean, then also you can't see the bottom of the pond. But if the water is clean and there are no waves, the surface of the pond is peace, silent, then you will be able to see the bottom of the pond. So that is the way to go reach into the essence. So anything which ruffles you up, which unsettles you, which keeps you agitated, which keeps you restless, that is what is to be avoided. Don't label it good or bad. Just say that this is needs to be avoided. And once you are established in that essence, the self, or whatever you are, then there is no effort in choosing a right action or a wrong action. Automatically you will find that awareness is there, and that awareness is a guiding lamp. Like, if you are in a dark room, you will be exploring, you will fall down, you may strike an object, but that awareness is like a light, a guiding lamp, like a ship. They see the lamp post and move in one direction, or like a north star, which shows you the direction, which doesn't change the direction, and that direction is awareness, which takes you to the core of your being, to the essence of your existence, to the essence of your wholeness, and that is perfect. That wholeness is never ruffled. That wholeness is never touched by anything. That wholeness is the foundation on which the whole experiences are existing, and that wholeness itself is the experience. The experiences are not different from what is experiencing it. So that is the concept of non-duality. First, we have to understand it as a concept, try to figure it out, that why this is said, how it is right, challenge it in complete, using full intellect to question it, that it may be false. Maybe somebody has set eyes closed and created this concept, but you are free to create your own concept. If you are not comfortable with this concept of non duality, challenge it. But for God's sake, don't believe in it. Don't just accept what your guru is saying or what scriptures are saying. Because if you are a seeker, seeker means what? Who is trying to find the truth, trying to find the answers to the question, even if they are readily available. Still, he is not satisfied with readily available answers. So that is the beauty of it. Leila has sent a comment. My essence is love, and actions which are loving will be most aligned. When actions are happening in awareness, these loving actions, thoughts, desires will appear. Absolutely right. And see, love also needs to be understood when you said that my essence is love. So, love is what? Love is not an action as such. It is the understanding that everything is already one. If this understanding is not there, then whatever is done in action will not be real love. So love is just an expression of your understanding of who you are. Because if normally in general parlance we say that I love one person or the other person, that love is not really love, because that love is based on what? That that person is fulfilling my desires. I want something from them. So it is a quid pro quo, means I do something for you and you do something for me. That is not love. That is selfishness. And selflessness is love. When you know that the self, whatever you have considered to be the self, is not really the that which we thought or I thought to be the self, then you are in a bottomless pit. Then you are actually open to love. And then in that core of your being, when you are aware of the oneness of the whole thing, when you are aware of the non duality, what else can express through you but love? So, I love you is remove I, remove you, just love. That is love. That I is love, you is love, and whatever remains is love. And in that love, there is no boundaries. There are nothing good, bad, nothing right or wrong. That is called unconditional love. And that can only arise if you are established in yourself, if you are a spiritual person, so to say, in normal words. Because without being knowing the self, how can you love anybody? Who is loving? If if I say I love you, then who is this I who is loving you? And what is this you which is being loved? Are I and you different? If they are different, then how can there be love? Leila said, yes, oneness is what I mean by love. Absolutely right. So we all come to the same conclusion that it is the oneness which is love. It is not an act. Anybody, others connected on the call may also, because this is such beauty, because people think that the path of knowledge is devoid of love. People think that it is devotion is not there in path of knowledge, and devotion is against the knowledge. But for me, at least, I did not found any difference. I found that where the knowledge ends, because knowledge ends at the starting of the knowledge itself. It starts, it ends very quickly. Who are you? You just know the answer to this question, and the knowledge is ended. Rest everything is what? An explanation of the science of this whole practical way of living. But that is not the self knowledge. Self knowledge is I am not this, I am not this, I am not this, I am not this, and I don't know who am I. That's the end of the knowledge. Now, if this knowledge is there, present, that is what love is. That is what surrender is. That is what devotion is. So, where the path ends, where the path of knowledge ends, when the intellect is surrendered, then the love starts, then the devotion starts. Now, whom to you are devoted then to if you don't know who you are? To whom you can be not devoted if you don't know who you are? Meaning thereby that if you don't know your own sense of essence or the core of your being, you can't be devoted to anybody. To whomsoever you will be devoted, it will be an act of it will there will be an actor, there will be an effort in it. But when you are firmly established that who I am is whatever is, then there is no effort in surrender. Then it happens automatically. So the path of knowledge ends into surrender, and path of love or devotion will take you to the path of knowledge. So it is a circular thing. It is not one after the other. We can say in poetic terms that path of knowledge ends in love, but if there is no love, there is no starting to the path of knowledge. Because if there is no love, there is no faith. If there is no love, there is no eagerness to go into the depth of a subject. You do only that which you love the most, which interests you the most. If there is no interest in knowing who am I, why will you start the journey also? So that journey starts because of two reasons. One because of sorrow, other because of inquisitiveness to know what is the purpose of my life and questions like that. Rajiv has sent a comment. Different expressions of same higher state of being once arrived. By arrive, I mean when ignorance is removed. It's same. However, for those who are struggling due to remaining ignorance, there still exist differences between love, devotion, knowledge. Yeah, Rajiv, I agree with you, but just be focused on what you are. I mean, what is your thoughts and feelings and intentions. And you are absolutely right. There will be people who will consider what we are speaking as total garbage. There will be many people who will be anti against it. They will be against with this type of even talk. And that is how we see that many spiritual seekers face uh, lot of opposition from their own family members, because the family members think they are losing a asset and person who was helpful to them. Now he will be gone. Now he will leave house. Now he will go to Himalayas or some mountain or some meditation center and will leave me. So there is a sense of insecurity and there is a sense of possessiveness. So from insecurity breeds this possessiveness. So where is the root cause of insecurity? You are right, ignorance. So if ignorance is there, there will be insecurity. And if ignorance is gone, there won't be any insecurity. You won't try to accumulate lot of wealth or friends or relations or knowledge or whatever. Try to be good, try to spread knowledge, whatever. I mean, these all will be meaningless if you are aware about your own center. But then question will arise: why am I speaking then if there is no purpose in spreading the knowledge also. See, I don't have anything else to do. What do I do in my free time? What do I do if I'm not interested in being entertained in normal worldly manner, like going to parties, drinking, having fun, and all those things? I'm not interested in that. What do I do? If if I go to office, complete my job, come back, and in between there are a lot of time. Because I tell you my own experience. When I was aiming to do something, when I was aiming to become something, when there was an aim in my life, that I have to reach to that level or to that position, there were a lot of stress. There were a lot of, not stress actually, there was a lot of confusion. Not even confusion, the lack of attention. That when I'm reading a paragraph or a office job, I'm thinking about something else because the aim is there in front of me. That was making the mind restless, so to say. But now, when you don't care about anything, that I know my needs are met, I know what is my true essence, then there's a lot of spare time because you don't unnecessarily go and gossip with somebody else. You don't want to go and please your boss for every small thing. So, what do I do in my free time? So, there are only two possibilities. One, that you understand what is being given from the society to you, either directly, indirectly, aware or unaware. You take whatever is thrown upon you right when you open your eyes, from whatever you see, whatever you listen, whatever you eat, whatever. They just bombard you this information. Now, second thing which you do unaware or aware is spread this in way of either speaking something, in way of behaving, in way of passing on this information through genes to your children. So you see, it is inevitable. That's what is happening. There is a bombard of information coming to you, and you are becoming a source of information for others. Now, if this is what is happening, then what to do? I mean, the most normal thing to happen is that you just start speaking about what you have thought that is valuable, that may affect somebody, that may help others. But you, in the heart of your being, you know that there are no others. But there are persons who don't know this subject, that I am the whole, I am the experiencer, and there is oneness, and there is non duality. There, that is what is love is. They're just caught up in sorrow. In there's people who are sitting on the fence. They have been walking on several paths for so long. But to be very clear and honest, there is no such intention that you are going to make a difference in others' life. Because if you are in that, then you will lose, because you will be more interested who is listening to me, whether they are, that listening is making any change in their lives. So you are caught up in the word again. So it needs to be very careful. You have to be very careful that whatever small intention of being a separate individual is there, needs to be clearly seen. I don't say that it will not be there, it will be there, but you have to be course correction. You have to revisit it again and again. That this action, whether it is coming from feeling of my being separate and other person being separate, or is it coming from the sense of oneness, the wholeness? So then the actions will be more meaningful. So all this, when we say actions will be meaningful, is again a relative language. Unfortunately, we have to take shelter of the language to deliver whatever message is being conveyed. Otherwise, the best thing is silence. And you will see that the really people who have found something, they will become silent. But that is not a, what do I say? That is not a thing to confine, that if a person is speaking, he is not established in itself. So you can't put a rule on a person who has known himself or herself. The rules are made by the person there. And that person is nowhere to be seen. That person means that entity is not an individual. So everything happens automatically. Rajiv has said spreading of knowledge or any other service to fellow mankind or to the society in general is not to be seen from the level of knowledge, but from the level of worldly existence, where remaining still doing nothing is obviously not a smart choice. As a learner, seeker chooses the service path. Yes, this is right. And if anybody else wants to say anything or contribute to it, or any questions are there, that will be good because I think I am alone speaking for quite some time. So if anybody has any question or anything to ask or share the message or their experience, they're most welcome. Whether you agree or disagree to whatever we have discussed till now, because whatever we are discussing have you must have heard it several times. It's not that something new is being talked there, or it is not that I know something which is much better or much superior or inferior. It is just that it is happening right now at this moment. That's it. There is no intention, there is nothing to change in the whole world. The world is accepted as it is. So if anybody has any comments or thoughts, like we discussed today about what is good and bad and things like that. I think few people are typing something. Anybody wants to share their experience about how their life has been influenced by the non-duality, whether it can be applied in life or whether it is only a concept to be known through intellect, or is it something which is the reality as such. So that needs to be understood very clearly that whatever we start as a concept, but whatever when we end with surrender. And that surrender is the surrender of the intellect. That this is all what can be known by the intellect. Let me try to go to the source of what is from where this intellect is coming. That will be a different, that will be a shift, that will be a paradigm shift, I would say, because that source is so undefinable in words that you will be surprised. I don't know what is the correct word, not surprised, but amazement. You will be in the amazement of the bliss of what you are. There's beauty to it, and there is peace in it. There is love in it. There is non-doership in it. If you have to take one concept, you have to remember one concept. Just remember that there is no doer, and rest everything will fall in place. Just try to go deep into this one sentence. Why it is said that there is no doer? If there is no doer, why am I responsible for my actions, which is affecting my life? So try to understand that. Anjali has written a message. As Guruji says, drop the unnecessary and the necessary will happen. And in that necessary, we will find the thing which we really love to do. And that gives us satisfaction. Very good, Anjali. I fully agree with you that if you know the core of your being, your true essence, then unnecessary cannot stick. It cannot remain. It will be just dropped. Purnima has written, in my experience, the journey from concept to the end point, submission or surrender, is not very easy. Why do I feel so? Purnima, just tell me who is feeling so? This is the problem that you want to surrender, whereas the want to surrender is having a doership ingrained into it. Even your question, why do I feel so? So there is this I separate and the feeling as separate. And that feeling is not very comfortable, so you want to remove it or change it. But tell me, is the feeling different from the one who is feeling the feeling or who is knowing the feeling? What is the difference? Where is the boundary? If I'm getting angry, at that moment I am the anger, right? Or you are different from the anger? No, I don't think anybody can see from their own experience. If I am loving, am I different from love? Purnima, can you answer? Are you different from the feeling which is coming, which is the one which is knowing the feeling and the one which is known? Are they two? If they are two, then surrender cannot happen. But if it is not two, then surrender has already happened. So please try to go deep. If you are not done the 3-day knowledge program, then you are most welcome to do it with someone, anyone who you want to do. Or if you are not in the path of knowledge detail, if you've done 3-day program, then you can move ahead in path of knowledge if you prefer to do that. So she has written that, yeah, I'm able to understand. Very nice. Very quickly you understood it. So actually the knowledge is so simple, as simple as that. You've started the program. Great. So just be patient. I think all your questions will be answered. But my answer to it will be that there is no one who is surrendering. There is no starting, and there is no journey, there is no concept, and there is no separateness, so to say. Because if you are separated yourself from the whole existence, then this feeling of actions will come that I have to do something, I have to act in a certain manner, which will make me more loving, which will make me more peaceful. I have to gain knowledge. Please drop all what you have learned so far. Please drop all your efforts. Then the beauty will arise. Then love will arise. Then the real surrender will happen. Then the awareness will be shining forth like a beacon of light emanating from you, through you, as you. And whatever you touch will be illumined, will be enlightened. You are never enlightened. You are the light itself. How can you be enlightened? You are the light, the source of all that exists. So, if anybody has any further questions or wants to share something, most welcome. Otherwise, I think we are close to the time. And thank you so much for patiently listening to whatever I have to say. I don't know whether I make sense or not, but yes, whatever is spoken is just coming, flowing. I don't know whether it is right or wrong. Please don't believe it as right or wrong, good or bad. Just go with your own experience, with your own logic, and then find an answer that can be very different from what is being spoken here. So then you can start discussing that whatever I have heard from somebody or from you, that this is what is, and this is not what I think it is. Then it will be, then the conversation will start in terms of understanding it in more depth. But in the end, need not to be it not need not to be in a form of argument, but it can be in a very healthy conversation that this is all right, but how can we accept everything is non-dual? If it is non-dual, why there are so differences? Why there are so many different perceptions? So many different types of question may arise into the intellect. So try to find answers to them. Try to dive deep into that, and I wish you all the best. And thank you again for connecting and for being joining into the today's meeting. Thank you so much.